Hello, welcome to When the Smoke Clears. I am the Recovery Plug. What's going on, everybody? Well, today's Sunday, so happy Sunday to everybody out there. Thank you for watching and tuning into the video podcast today. I really appreciate that. You know how I like to get my video podcast always started with a moment of silence followed by the serenity prayer for the addict who still suffers. So if you would, a moment of silence, please. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. Alrighty, well, let's get started. Man, so how's it going, everybody? Today I wanted to talk to you guys about something that I read and something that I seem to be, I incorporated this way of, I guess, thinking and living into my life, and this time around in my recovery. And I wanted to guess. I wanted to, I guess, just talk about it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read some part of that to you and then kind of elaborate on it. And let me see if I can pull that thing up. If you give me just a second. Alright, well, okay, Psalms 91. This thing says, let me pull this over here. This thing says, my glasses at, what I do with those things. Give me just a second. Okay, well, I can't find them, so we're going to have to do without it. Okay. Well, Psalms 91 says, whoever dwells in the shelter of the Most High will rest in the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress, my God, in whom I trust. Surely I will save you from the fowler's snare and from the deadly pestilence. He will cover you with His feathers, and under His wings you will find refuge. His faithfulness will be your shield and rampart. You will not fear the terror of night, nor the arrow that flies by day, nor the pestilence that stalks in the darkness, nor the plague Sorry about that. It says, nor the plague that destroys the midday. 1,000 may fall at your side, 10,000 at your right hand, but it will not come near you. You will only observe with your eyes and see the punishment of the wicked. It says, if you say, the Lord is my refuge, and you make the Most High your dwelling, no harm will overtake you. No disaster will come near your tent. For He will command His angels concerning you to guard you in all your ways. They will lift you up in their hands so that you will not strike your foot against a stone. You will tread on the lion and the cobra. You will trample the great lion and serpent. Because He loves me, says the Lord, I will rescue him, I will protect him, for he acknowledges my name. He will call on me, and I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble, and I will deliver him and honor him. With long life I will satisfy him and show him my salvation. Man, well, there you go, Psalms 91. Man, in my journey of recovery, and in my journey when I was in the dark realm of addiction, I knew about Psalms 91, and I would pray, and ask God to be there for me and to save me and to help me through the adversities that I was going through. But I was still stuck in the darkness. I was still picking up that drug. I was still drinking. I was still doing evil things. I was still doing licks and stealing and whatever I had to do to maintain my drug habit and to maintain my lifestyle. I was still doing that, even though I knew I was doing something that was killing me every single day. And the thing is that even though I would pray this thing over and over and over again and ask God to be there for me and, intervene, I wasn't doing what he was asking. You know what I mean? When you pray and if you listen to that, Psalms 91, what it's telling you is that I will be there for you. I will hold you up in the dark times. I will give you my wings and protect you. I will hover over you and shelter you so that no evil and nothing bad happens to you. I will do that because I love you, is what he's saying. So long you abide in me. In other words, you can't ask for all of this stuff and still dwell in the addiction. You can't ask for all of these healings and still dwell in the sadness, and still dwell in the depression, still dwell in all the things that are making you mad, still dwell in the fact that you can't make somebody love you, or you're not doing what your parents told you to do, or you're not being faithful to your, significant other, or you're just not abiding by God's rules. You're not abiding by what he's telling you should abide by, and that is to have faith in him 100%, to give him the things that you got no control over, but to ask for the serenity to accept the things that you can't change, and to ask for the courage to change the things you can, but to ask for that wisdom that it happens to you spiritually and mentally, so that your actions reflect that in doing the things that you need to do, so that my higher power, your higher power, can keep you elevated and get you out of that darkness. And it wasn't until I started living that way, until I started putting those things into exercise and to use those in my daily life, and every morning, instead of waking up and looking for my bolo, where's my bowl? I need to smoke my bowl. Who's got my shit? I would indulge in prayer and meditation for an hour, and that was enough to keep me from using, because I was doing that on a repetitious basis every single day, and I still do that today. And I understand what I need to do, because God has gave me that wisdom and clarity in my mind that I am doing those types of things so that I surrender to him and give him all of the things that I got no control over. I don't got any control over what's going to happen if I'm doing a job and my boss or whatever is acting a certain way. I got no control over what that man thinks. I only got control over what I do. So I don't dwell in that. You know what I mean? I don't dwell in the situations that I can't help my daughters because they're older now and they got their own ways of thinking, they got their own families. If they have problems, I can only give them advice. I can only give them spiritual advice that I understand the problems that they're going through. I can't help you because I'm not living your life. But I can give you advice. I can give you tools to help you in the situation that you're doing. And that's because God has given me those things. God is putting those things into my head, into my mind, and I'm giving them to you because I know that if you do it this way, things will get better. You know, it's like there was a woman. I'm taking an Uber ride the other day, and a woman who's driving me around to bring me back to Cross Point after my appointment at the VA, and she's telling me this story about. We got on the subject of work, and she said she used to be in the mental care profession. She was helping people with mental illness and people that were going through certain things, depression, addiction, that sort of stuff, right? And she said that, she gives me a story of, she goes, have you heard the story about the man in the hole? And I was like, well, no. I said, I've heard many stories on addiction and recovery, but not that one. So she proceeds to tell me about it. And she goes, my daughter uses this all the time. My daughter is a recovering addict. And my daughter's 40 years old now, and she's, fixing to get her, degree in that. I guess it must have been something like, social work or psychology or something like that. But her daughter was an addict, and she's her dealing with all of that stuff. And she's telling me that they use this story a lot in helping people. So, I had never heard the story, so it made it go something like this. I don't know if I'm going to do it exactly the way she told it to me, but it's something similar to this. And she goes, there's this guy, and he falls in this hole, and he's, it's a deep hole, he can't climb out. And, the doctor walks by and it's like, hey, do you need some help? And he goes, man, I can't help you. I don't know how to get you out of that. So he walks on by. Another guy comes by and he's, a policeman and does the same thing. Please help me get out of this hole. He goes, man, I'm sorry, but I don't know how to do that. I'm a cop. I only help, serve the law out here. So he passes him by, And construction worker goes by and does the same thing, Hey, can help me get out of this hole, please. And the guy's like, man, I'm a construction worker. I build things. I don't know how to dig people out of something. I build stuff out here, so I can't help you. But he keeps going. And this random dude comes by, and he jumps in the hole. He jumps in the hole with him. And the guy freaks out. He goes, no, don't jump in here, There's no way out. We're going to be stuck in here. You'll be stuck in here with me. And the guy looks at him calmly and says, brother, don't worry. He goes, I've been in this hole before. I know how to get out. And man, when she told me that story, it kind of made me teary-eyed a little bit, you know what I mean? I'm sitting in the back seat of her car, and it kind of brought me a little bit of tears. The woman's name was Linda, and a really sweet lady. And I'll always remember you, Linda, if you ever watch my video podcast, because this first time I ever heard that story, it really touched me. So kudos to her. And So yeah, I was like, man, I understood at that moment when she told me that story. I was like, oh, man, I remember myself being in a situation where I didn't know how I was going to deal with things. I didn't know how my life was going to change. But when I sat in a room full of addicts, they knew, and they made me feel that comfort. And I believe that that's my higher power working in other people to get me to feel that serene feeling that there is help. I don't have to be here doing this on my own if I only just have the faith to give it up to my higher power. That you take care of what you got to take care of, and I'll take care of what I got to take care of down here. So long that you give me the wisdom to know and to pick and choose the right things to do, so that I'm setting those healthy boundaries and doing things in a positive and productive way. And it has been so far, man. My life has been really going in the right direction so far, and I'm really grateful that I've been able to recognize those things and have a relationship, a spiritual relationship, a spiritual awakening within myself and my higher power. And it's just great to be able to have that. You know what I mean? To be able to reach out to something that I know will work. And when I involve myself in that, community, that faith-based community of recovery, and the faith-based community of my higher power in my, church, and all the faith-based stuff that goes with that, when I involve those two things together, man, I can get out of any hole, no matter how deep it is. And I understand that. And that's what I'm wish to, portray, and to, not portray, but to bring out of this message today. The truth that know that if you dwell in that presence of the Lord, and if you dwell in the presence of your higher power, and you abide by what He wants you to do, you will get out of any adversity, out of any hole. I can guarantee you that's a promise, not from me, but from your higher power and my higher power. You know what I mean? So it's great. It's beautiful to know that we have those types of stepping stones that we can use to get out of situations, so long that we are abiding by the things that we need to do, so long that we are setting those positive boundaries, setting those positive things, that if we dwell in those positive things, the only thing that comes out of something like that is positive action. So so that's I guess what it's great to be able to share a message like that, and to that's what I wanted to kind of get out this Sunday, is to share that message, and to let you know that you don't have to do it alone. There is always somebody there, whether it's your higher power, whether it's your neighbor, whether it's the person in one of the meetings. There's always going to be somebody there to help you, so long that you are open-minded, so long that you are hopeful, so long that you are willing, so long that you are truthful to new ideas and new beginnings, and staying away from the negative realm of negative and unhealthy boundaries. You will be able to conquer a whole lot of things in your life and recover exactly that, because recovery is just exactly that, recovering things that you have lost along the way to the darkness of addiction, to PTSDs, to depression, to anger, to just all those negative and bad neurological brain disorders that people deal with on a daily basis in this country. So it's for those of you who are in recovery already, like myself, to be able to get that little push, if you will, of listening to somebody's podcast and getting that encouragement to get onto that next step and help somebody else, to help that next person that needs it, that person who's homeless, that person who's out there in the bandos and the motels and the tents, and who need to hear somebody, to let them know that, hey, you know what, there is help for you, just like there is for me, because I used to be right there in that tent. I used to be right there under that bridge. I used to be in that motel, you know, and to be able to be out of there and to be free is just amazing feeling that you get, and it can happen for you too. And I'm living proof of that. So, you know, I really appreciate you guys watching my videos and my podcast. You know, at this time, I'd like for you to, you know, give me a thumbs up, share my channel, give me a like, leave me a comment, and most of all, subscribe to my channel. All you got to do is tap that button. It doesn't cost you a thing, but know that when you do tap that button of subscribe, that you will be helping another veteran, you will be helping another homeless person, you will be helping another drug addict, you'll be helping another person dealing with PTSD, dealing with sadness, dealing with depression, dealing with suicidal thoughts. You'll be helping people with all those types of neurological disorders, and you'll be helping out your brother and your sister in Christ, man. So I really encourage you guys to share my channel, subscribe to my channel, because our whole mission here is to help and share the message to bring as many people as we can over to this side of recovery and positivity. And yeah, so I really appreciate you guys watching, and I guess until the next time on When the Smoke Clears, I am the Recovery Plug.